Hi everybody, welcome back to the English Safari. Today I'm going to talk about a very beautiful story, and totally I'm going to talk about the story in a nutshell. I'm going to talk about the most important questions from this topic as from this prospect, so it'll be easy for you to prepare for your ensuing test exams and as well as higher secondary exam. A story in a nutshell, right? So stay tuned, watch this video, sit relaxed and watch this video till the end, and you'll find many things, of use for you, many things beneficial, right? Anyways, so the story is here. The eyes have it. The eyes have it. It's a very beautiful story by Ruskin Ball, and by a blind narrator. The narrator. Who is the narrator of the story? The narrator is the one who is telling us the story, So we have a narrator of this story, and the narrator is a blind person. Now, our blind narrator comes across a girl in a train compartment, and the girl's voice charms the narrator so much that he wants to be familiar with this girl. He starts liking her, and he wants to befriend her. And then suddenly it strikes his mind, what if he tries to pretend that he can see that he's a seeing person? He thinks that by pretending to be a seeing person, he can befriend the girl, easily or more easily. Anyways, the narrator tries to pretend to be a seeing person, and they both start talking, and the narrator even describes to her the beauty of the hills in the beauty of the hills of Mussoorie in October. Now we have to focus on this part of the story because we often have questions coming, from this part, in which it is asked, "Oh, how lucky you are!" The girl says this to the narrator. "Oh, how lucky you were that you're going to Mussoorie in October." So the question is here, why is the narrator lucky? You have to write this answer in order to answer this question. Or in other words, you have to describe the beauty of the hills of Mussoorie in October. Now the answer is, the narrator is lucky because he's going to Mussoorie in the month of October. And both for the girl and the narrator, Mussoorie in October is a very beautiful, wonderful place today. The hills are covered with wild dahlias. The sun is delicious, it's very delicious, very soft. And then in the evening, one can sit in front of a log fire and drink a little bit of brandy as well. And the roads are deserted because most of the tourists have gone home. So kind of a romantic description, right? Anyways, this is the description that is often asked in a question paper. In this way, the narrator described the beauty of the hills of Mussoorie in October, and he wants to take the reaction of the girl, but the girl is silent. The girl is silent. The description makes the girl silent, and the narrator is worried. He wonders if the girl is touched by the description, or she takes him to be a romantic fool. Now, in order to break her silence, the narrator asks her a question, which is a wrong question. And suddenly the narrator instantly realizes that he made a mistake by this question, by asking this question. Again, we have to focus on this part of the story because questions are often asked from this part of the story as well. We have questions like, "Then I made a mistake." Now, what is the mistake referred to here? Why is it a mistake? And how is the mistake resolved? The mistake is the narrator asked the girl a wrong question. The question is, what is it like outside? It is a mistake because the narrator has been pretending to be a sane person. Now, this is a wrong question on part of a sane person. A sane person will never ask someone to tell him or tell her what it is like outside. So this is wrong. And now how is the mistake resolved? Luckily for the narrator, fortunately for him, the girl doesn't read too much into his question. She actually, the narrator finds that the girl hasn't found anything strange in the question. He even doubts if the girl has taken him to be a blind person, but the girl then asks him something, and that question removes all his doubts. The girl asks him to look outside and see it for himself. So this was the question. That often is asked in the examination. So you have to focus on this part of the story. Now, next what happens is, after this conversation, they again become silent for some time, and the narrator again wants to break the silence, and now he remarks on the girl's face and the girl's appearance. He tells her that she has an interesting face, and instantly, immediately he realizes that this is very daring. This is very daring, This is a daring question. And this is a daring remark, because they're just familiar. They're not friends, They're just acquaintances. They're not even acquaintances. They're meeting for the first time, and just they have spent a few moments, and the narrator remarking on the girl's face. Quite unusual, right? So the narrator feels that's very daring because he made a comment, he passed a comment on the girl's face, but then he's confident that the girl won't mind because he thinks that we all think that there are only few girls that can resist flattery. Most of the girls can't resist flattery. Now, what is flattery? Flattery is false praise. You must be knowing this, right? The flattery is false praise, and girls usually like false praise according to the narrator, so the girl won't mind. And this actually happens. The girl doesn't mind at all. She tells him that she's tired of being told that she has a pretty face, and she likes the narrator's comment that she has an interesting face. So often we again have question coming from this part of the story as well. So you have to focus on this part of the story as well. You have to read this part a few times. So what is the question? You have an interesting face. The line is, you have an interesting face. Who says this to whom? Who says this to him? The blind narrator says this to his female traveling companion, and what is the reaction of the girl? The girl is very happy. She's glad because she's tired of being told that she has a pretty face. She gives a clear, ringing laugh as well. She's pleased that the narrator told her that she has an interesting face. And is this, the story goes on like this. It's a beautiful movement of the story here. They're talking. The narrator is impressed by her voice. Same is not true about the girl. The girl is telling him that she can't bear to sit in the train for more than 2 or 3 hours. So this upsets the narrator a little, right? Anyway, let's come back to the question. The question is, should we forget our brief encounter? What is the brief encounter here? Who says this? What is the brief encounter here? And why does the speaker feel so? The blind narrator is the speaker here in Ruskin Bone's beautiful short story that is Habit, and the encounter here refers to the meeting between the blind narrator and a girl in a train compartment. Why does the speaker feel so? The narrator feels that the girl will forget this brief encounter because for the girl, this is just another ordinary meeting that we have on train or a bus or any public vehicle. The narrator is impressed by the girl's voice, but he wants to listen to the girl for any length of time will allow him to. He's ready to sit in the compartment for any length of time just to listen to her. Same can't be said about the girl who is eager to leave the train. So that is why he feels so. And in this way, we come to the last part of the story. The girl gets down from the train, a third passenger, and now it's a male companion, comes into the compartment. The narrator, however, is lost in his own thoughts. The narrator is thinking about the girl's hair. Suddenly the narrator starts thinking about the girl's hairstyle. What kind of hair the girl might have. This question bothers him a lot. He's been thinking about the girl's hair for such a long time. Anyways, now a third traveling companion, now is a male, comes into the compartment and he finds the narrator lost in his own thoughts. The narrator has been thinking about the girl's hair. He has been thinking about whether he'd play the same game of hiding his blindness, and whether he'd guess what is going outside the compartment. This will be also fascinating as well. He's been thinking all this, and the third passenger thinks that because he is earlier, erstwhile, his earlier companion was a girl and she was a beautiful girl, and now it's a male companion, so he's not paying him any attention. Anyways, he breaks the narrator's silence. He breaks the narrator's reverie. We have to focus on this part of the story as well, because we often have questions coming from this part of the story as well. Like the man who got into the compartment broke into my reverie. Who is the speaker? What is a reverie, and how is it broken? Right? Here, actually, a reverie is a daydream. Reverie is a daydream, but here refers to the narrator's thoughts. About guessing out. About attempting to guess what is happening outside, or his another attempt to hide his blindness. It refers to all this. How is it broken? The third person, the new traveler, asks him if he is disappointed. He remarks that he must be disappointed because he's not as attractive a traveling companion as the girl who had just left. And last question, last but not the least. She has beautiful eyes, but they are of no use to her. Who has beautiful eyes? Why does the speaker think so? And what irony is here? This is very ironical, The ending of the story is really ironical. So far, the blind narrator never thought that the girl is blind. He thought that the girl is a sane person, and that is why he has been pretending to be a sane person, only to know at the end of the story that the girl was also blind, and this is ironical. So, the third passenger, or the new traveler, remarks that the girl is blind. She has beautiful eyes, but they are of no use to her because she is blind. So this is ironical. The narrator never expected that the girl is blind. Even we, the readers, never expected that the girl is blind. So this is a beautiful example of situational irony in which, situational irony, what happens is something opposite to our expectation happens. The blind narrator never expected that the girl is blind. We never expected that the girl is blind, but fact is she is. So this is a beautiful example of situational irony, and Ruskin Bond exploits this situational irony to very, very precise way. Perfect example of situational irony. So now let's get back to the question. The question is, she has beautiful eyes, but they are of no use to her. Who says this to whom? Here, the new traveler, the third passenger, tells this to the blind narrator. And why is it so? He tells the narrator that the girl has beautiful eyes, but they're of no use. They're useless because the girl is completely blind. And what irony is here? Here we have a beautiful example of situational irony. So far, the blind narrator has taken the girl, as a sane person, and he pretended to be a sane person, only to know that the girl is blind. So this is ironical. So these are the questions that you have to prepare for. I told you the story in a nutshell, not in a nutshell, of course. I told you the story in detail, in details, and also explain the questions. Give you the answer. You have to prepare these questions, and give you the answers. What you got to do is have to watch this video, very carefully. You have to listen to this video, right? You have to listen to what I'm saying. And if you can't understand something, you have to just pause, again rewind, and then play, and you'll understand. So the most important questions from this topic are: number one, the description of the hills of Mussoorie in October. Number two, I made a mistake. The question from this bird, and then you have an interesting face. Number three. Number four is you'd forget a brief encounter, and then number five is the man who got into compartment broke into my reverie, and number six is she has beautiful eyes, but they're of no use to her. And the ironical part, right? So prepare these questions very well. They will be of use for you in the coming test exam and in the HS exam. So all the best for the tests and the higher secondary exam. I hope you all are going to do very well in English. You'll get good marks, excellent marks, and hope you'll be thanking me as well. And before you thank me for telling you the important questions from this process, what you shouldn't forget is to like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Bye-bye. Good night.